everyone. Welcome to Train the Trainers.
We're so excited you're here.
My name is Shelly Hall. I'm the Customer Success Manager here at Mote.
And I'm Brittany Horn. I am one of Mote's ambassador leaders.
Today, we are going to teach you all the things you need to know about Mote.
We're hoping to set you up for success as you use Mote with your colleagues.
So let's dive in. We're going to break this video up into 4 sections: feedback, connection, accommodations, and language learning. But first, we're going to talk about installation and the initial setup. In the best case scenario, you will have deployed Mote Chrome Extension to all of your devices. But if not, you can show teachers how to install from the Chrome Web Store by searching Google for Mote Extension or by going to mote.com/Chrome. Now all you have to do is click Add to Chrome, add the extension. Now the extension has been added. Mote gives you a reminder to pin the extension, so I definitely want to do that by clicking on the puzzle piece and clicking the pin. You will also want to have your teachers and your students pin it as well. Once I have it pinned, I want to make sure that you go to the extension and continue to sign in. Once all of this is done, I want to go through, and so now it comes up. This is now a little magic mic. We have a new feature that it's called Magic Mic. So the Magic Mic now moves. But I also want to go through and kind of run through these. You want to make sure that speech to text is turned on. So you can toggle it on and off, but make sure it's toggled on. And then whatever language you are speaking in, mine is English US, so that's what it defaulted to. But make sure that whatever language you are speaking in, you have that checked as well. Once you have it checked, then you are good to go. Now I'm going to hand it over to Brittany to share some ways Mote can be leveraged with feedback.
We're going to look at an essay that's been turned into Google Classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and go to review work. This is done in Google Docs, and I'm using this within Google Classroom, but the Google Docs feedback could happen within any platform or just within Docs itself. So I'm going to find the feedback that I want to leave for this student here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on Mote. Great job with your details here. Just make sure that you cite your sources. Then I'm going to click Complete. By clicking on the pin, I could then edit my transcription, make sure it looks good here, and then I would click Save. Work is now returned to the student. So now we're going to look at this from Kelly, the student's view. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my Google Doc. Notice that I have Mote voice feedback from my teacher. And if my primary language is not English, say for instance, we are looking at Spanish right now, I'm going to go ahead and choose Spanish. I can then see that the transcription is in Spanish, and I can also play this back in Spanish. The student can now reply and make adjustments. Let's look at another example. This time, the student has turned in a PDF, and rather than commenting on the document itself, I'm going to make a private comment. Great job getting your work in on time, Kelly. This is excellent. Just make sure you're really detailed and you use those transition words when you go from step to step. I'm going to enable Mote loops, and we'll look at this from the student end, and then I'm going to go ahead and click Post. So in this case, I used the private comment, and note that I can always comment directly on the PDF itself. I've got Mote, and then I could also just leave a comment in text as well. Now we were looking at from Kelly, the student's view, and I can see this private comment along with the Mote loops. So I can say, yes, I know what to do. I may need help. Notice I've still got my translation option available here. Enabling the Mote loop will allow the students to say if they need some more help or they know what to do. Okay. And then I could go ahead and type in feedback, or I could click skip here and then submit. The teacher can then see that the student needs some help. They can add comments and go ahead and keep that loop going until the student feels comfortable completing the assignment. Okay. So I'm going to then reply, and notice this time I'm just replying with some text, and the loop is going to continue. We'll go back to the student view. And at this point, the student could then click to listen and then respond with I need help more, or I know what to do. By clicking the Mote extension, the teacher has record of all the activity happening in Mote. So if I go to activity and then view all activity, I will be taken to this page, and notice that I can see everything that was given. I can also click on my Mote loops, and this is a really neat view because you're going to see what percentage was I need help, what percentage was I need to know what to do, the total loops. So you get some really neat data and analytics here under my loops. And then once again, all your activity is here. And you can even now filter by student, by classroom. And so you've got a lot of ways to view all of your motes and refer back here as well. So this is my classroom and everything left within the classroom. Mote not only makes feedback personalized for students, but it also saves time for teachers as well. And one way that you can save time is by using the Mote book. So I noticed that this very first piece of feedback that I left is something that I use often. So I'm going to click on Edit, and then I'm going to click on the star to save this to my Mote book. And I'm going to call this Cite Sources, and then click Save. Notice now that this is saved to my Mote book, I can long press on the Mote icon and access my full Mote book here. So as I kind of gather all of the different motes that I save, I'll be able to search for them. They'll be alphabetized, and I can simply click, and then that same voice note and that personalization will be added here, and I can choose comment. You may be wondering, what if your students don't have the Mote extension? So a lot of districts and schools will push this extension out to all students, or all students will have the extension. But the good news is, if by chance your students don't have that extension, they can still click to hear your voice comment. So in this case, the student does not have the extension installed. I can click here to hear the voice note from the teacher, just in a new window at mote.com. As we wrap up this feedback section, we want to show how feedback with Mote works within Canvas SpeedGrader. So here I have an essay open. I'm going to go ahead and click SpeedGrader. I've got my Mote icon conveniently right here. Notice that I can long press and still access that Mote book. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that personal voice feedback. Way to go getting this essay in. I'm really proud of the way that you took a side and you used supporting details like we talked about in class. And then notice when I click submit, that Mote voice card is sitting there with personal feedback for the student.
We are now going to talk about using Mote for connection. The first thing I want to mention is using Mote in Google Classroom. And using Mote in Google Classroom, teachers have found using voice notes a really powerful way to just connect with students giving feedback as a whole class. And to start this, I'm going to show you in your stream, you can leave a class announcement. So for instance, say I want to leave announcements for the entire class over something that I want to tell them. Instead of just typing it, now I can leave them a voice note instead. So here's an example. Go to your stream, click to record on the purple button. Hey class, hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Please come prepared to share one thing that happened over the weekend. Now that I have it there, I can do two things. I can either click on it to change anything that it didn't pick up, or I can change it, like we've told you before, into any language that your students might want to translate it into. I click save, and then now I can post it. Now my students will have it to hear instead of just read. We are going to hop on over into Google Slides now. Using Mote in Google Slides is probably one of my favorite ways to use Mote. This particular slide deck is an About Me slide deck. I can see this being used for back to school, or even changing up the emojis over here for different themes or different seasons. So lots of different use cases for this. But the way that Mote actually is being used in Google Slides is actually integrated into Google Slides. So you notice that the purple Mote button is up here at the top. So when a student or teacher creates their voice note in Google Slides, it puts it into the slide. So here's an example. For here, it's asking me to say my name. So I'm going to go up here to the purple button. Once I click it, it opens up the Mote button, and I actually can move this window around so it's not so as intrusive. I can move it anywhere that it's not in my way. And I click to start. Shelly Hall. So I just recorded my name. It's thinking it's going to insert it into my slide. It's actually saving it into my Google Drive, into a folder. It just automatically does that, and it puts it into a folder. So all of your Google Slide motes get saved into your Mote Google Doc folder. So now you can move this little button around and it's playable. Notice here, Shelly Hall. Oh, I'm not going to play it again. But also, one really cool thing about Google Slides is I actually can replace that image with anything that I want here. So it doesn't have to stay the purple button. You could upload it from your computer, search the web, or even now do GIFs and stickers. That's a new one, but it can be moved around as well. There really are so many creative ways to use Mote in Google Slides. I've seen it for read alouds, for timelines, even for student debates that they move their Mote icon back and forth for their debate. Really, really cool stuff happening with Google Slides. The next way I want to talk about is still in Google Slides. So the deck is in Google Slides that I'm representing, but the way that I'm going to use it is going to be a little bit different. So I'm not going to go to the purple button that is integrated into Google Slides. I'm actually going to go to the extension up here, and I'm going to create my Mote from here. So I'm clicking here. I'm going to record. This is a progress monitoring report, or say I just saw someone doing something really cool in class that I want to tell their parents about. So I'm going to click the recording. Notice, don't forget that this is now movable, so I can move it out of the way. Hey, I just wanted to take a second and tell you how amazing your student is doing in class. I really noticed his improvement in his writing today. I just wanted to take a second and give him some praises and let you know how amazing he is doing. So the transcript is happening, and you can check, make sure it's all good. Say your parent is maybe a Spanish speaking parent. You can go ahead and change that to Spanish. I chose the Spain one, but you can choose Spanish. I'm in the US, so I'm going to go ahead and choose US, but I want to share that, but I want to share it different this time. I'm not going to just share my copy link like normal. I'm going to actually share it as a QR code. Two different ways you can do this. You can save the image to your computer, or you can actually just drag it over and put it into where you want it to put it. I drug it over into this little slot because that's where I know I'm going to end up putting it anyways. And then you can fill out this information here. So super easy way to give praises to students. I can also see you using this for teachers to give praises just in the hallway and come back if you're an admin, coming back to the class, coming back to your desk and telling a teacher how amazing they did and sending it out. I know as an administrator or even as a teacher, I would love to hear those praises going on, but creating QR codes is so easy in Mote, and leaving them around the school, leaving them around on desks for people, gosh, they would just love to hear it. So giving praises is a wonderful way to use Mote. Speaking of those QR codes in Mote, check out this little cutie here. This is my daughter, and we actually created this in Canva and using a Mote QR code. So we will hop on over to Canva here in a second, and I'll show you how Canva and Mote integrate so well together. But I created a QR code, a Mote QR code, and had my daughter create the Mote, and she told her teachers what wonderful, how they helped her grow. She was actually 3 when she recorded this, and it is adorable. So listening to her and her teachers, you can even tell how many times her teachers listened to it. So I know that they enjoyed it, and it was a special gift for them. So now I've hopped on over into Canva, and there's 2 ways that you can use Canva and Mote together. So one is actually just pasting the QR code the same way we did before into slides, using your extension up here and going to your activity. And so I'm just going to grab this one that I've used before. So any Mote that I have previously recorded, and instead of grabbing that link, if I click on it, then editing it and clicking share, instead of using the copy link, I'm going to use the QR code. And again, just dragging it over, and saving it this time and dragging it into Canva. You can do that. Or another way is to just simply use the extension. Thank you so much for helping me grow this year. I really appreciate everything you've done for me. And click share, and this time click copy link and go into your Canva template and hit Control V and it actually just goes into your link here. Oh, there we go. It just took it a second. Okay, perfect. So there it is. You can size it down, make it smaller, move it to wherever you want, and notice it plays back right into your document. So this is one where you would only use it if you were sending it digitally. This is one, the QR code is if you were actually going to print it off and use it to give to someone. So 2 different ways, both work great with Canva. Now we are hopping on over to Google Sites. We're still speaking of connection, but within Google Sites, Mote integrates seamlessly now. And I have just a pretty simple sample here. And say you want to insert your Mote into maybe a student e-portfolio or something, one of your Google Sites that you have. You have 2 options. It's the same as before. I went up to the purple button of my extension and I just copy pasted the link. So from here, I recorded it and then copied the link, inserted it into the site. It gave you 2 options. One was the whole page and one was where it has the transcript underneath it. They both look really nice. It just depends on which one that you wanted it to look visually. So this one has the transcript below it. This one just has the button where you can hear it speak. So both works great, but it does give you 2 options, which is really nice. So that is integrating into Google Sites. We are now going to move on over into Gmail, and I'm going to show you how to use Mote and how it integrates into Gmail nicely. So this would be so nice to be able to send a email out to your staff or to your parents and remove the tone. So I know sometimes when you send an email, the tone of your email just gets misconstrued and it just sounds different than it does what you were truly trying to get across. So Mote allows you to record your voice and truly give that human connection to your emails now. So once you have your email up, the Mote button is there for you, nice and easy for you to click on. Hey everyone, I cannot wait to see you at the staff development meeting today. Make sure you bring your laptops and your notebook, and we are just gonna have a grand old time. I will make sure that you get out by 4 o'clock so you can get home to your family. So it just nice and neatly integrates into there. Now you have a voice note into your email instead of just typing it. And they can hear your tone. They can tell that you're excited. They can see that you're really happy to see them this afternoon instead of typing a note that is kind of blah and not very fun for them to read. Using sticky notes is the next way I'm going to share about connecting with, whether it's with your students or your staff really. I can see this being used whether you're connecting with your students beforehand or even during class to go ask them to read an article, or with your staff to have them read an article before, say, a staff development or before something that you're needing them to do, and then sending them off and having them do it. But either way, if you go to a website that you're wanting to send them, then all you need to do is click the extension and turn on record on URL. All this is essentially doing is turning on the recorder that is recording to a website. So I'm going to turn that on. So now it's telling Mote that we are recording on this website. So now I can hit the click to record. Hey students, make sure you read this really cool article about the endangered species. And please come to class tomorrow with one question about this article and one really cool fact that you learned about this article, and be ready to discuss it tomorrow. Now, students again have the ability to translate it into any language that they would like to, or they can just keep it in the language that you originally shared it in. What's really cool is I can share it as a link anywhere that you would like to, or a QR code, all of the above, like any other time we ever can share things, or I can just simply share it in Google Classroom. Look how easy this is. I choose the class I want to share it in. I choose how I want to share it, whether it's just asking a question, making an announcement, or creating an assignment. And I click go. And it's that easy, guys. Amazing. So sticky notes can be such an easy tool for your students or your staff to get information out to them. Up next, Brittany is going to share with us about accommodations and how Google Forms works with Mote.
We are going to look at Mote for language learning. So we're going to start with a Google form, and I'm going to generate that and those questions from Conquer. So I'm going to go ahead and choose, for now, just 6th grade science. I'm going to have these as mixed question types. And then I'm going to go ahead and click generate. I'm going to preview my quiz, make sure there's no questions I want to edit here. And then I'm going to go ahead and click share, and I'm going to choose Google Forms. Now I'm generating this form from Conquer, but Mote is going to work within any Google form that you create. Now, one thing that we love about Mote in Google Forms is it easily allows you to add that oral accommodation to your questions or answer choices. So I'm going to go ahead and click here to read my question aloud. What is the function of the cell wall in a plant cell? So you can see my Mote link here, but when I go into preview mode or when I send this form to students, that Mote card is going to be embedded. So students can hear the questions individually played back, and they can do this at their own pace. So we can see in Conquer for that quiz, there was that built-in audio support here.
What is the function of this?
And now we have that same audio support, and that's so easy to just go in and add to any question that I want to as I am creating my form. After having this form exported from Conquer, you'll see that my answer choices are already here. So I can click on any question and see my answer key. So in this case, for this first question, some feedback is already given for correct answers. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this feedback because I want to provide voice feedback for my answer feedback. Notice when I click here, I can go ahead for incorrect and correct answers and record a Mote. Not quite. It may help to go back to page 63 in your book or to look at the resource in Google Classroom about this module. Okay, and then I can click on save. And now if students get the incorrect answer, they're going to hear directly from their teacher, and then they can learn as they are responding. Notice I've added a short answer question, and students, not only are they going to be able to hear things read aloud, but for instance, their name or this short answer question, they can also record to voice in their responses as well, which is really good for accommodations for those who are learning the language and just maybe are not ready to type in their full answer or just want to add that personal voice. Notice in my response spreadsheet, I'm going to be able to hear student responses directly with the Mote card in the sheet as well. For wrapping up this accommodation section, I want to show how you can add responses to or your audio to answer choices as well. And in this case, you'll want to use the Mote extension like I have here for chloroplast. So if I'm going to do ribosomes, I'm going to open up my Mote extension. I'm going to record the answer choice, ribosomes. And then notice that Mote is going to really easily open for me to click a link, and I'm just going to paste that in here. And notice when we preview the quiz that for this question, the answer choices are also going to be read aloud. Really, really helpful for those students that need oral accommodation.
All of the ways we have shared Mote with you can also be used in many creative ways to engage with language learners, building confidence in their listening and speaking skills. Go to mote.com/learning zone under case studies to find the same wonderful stories from the classroom that could help kickstart some ideas in your own school. Thank you so much for joining and sticking with us today.
If you go to mote.com/community,
there are 4 resources that we would love to share with you. And the first one is the Mote Amplifier. It's a amplifier deck, which is a great resource and overview of Mote. It's just a great place to have for your people. The second one is the Mote Certified Educator Program. And Britt was once one of those, but she kind of amplified up. Actually, I was one too. But so this is a program that is a great place just to direct your teachers and for them to get lots of information and to know all of the features that Mote has to offer so that they can then kind of ripple effect out and teach other people about Mote.
Yeah, and that Mote Certified Educator is great, especially
especially to learn the basics of Mote. But if you've got those teachers that kind of want to take it up and beyond and spend a little bit more time, they could become a Mote ambassador. And that is where you kind of have a community of other teachers, and you're just going to spend a little more time, dive in a little bit deeper, and maybe get some opportunities to share Mote. And then lastly, if you look up, it's not on the same website, if you look up Mote Learning Zone, you're going to see lots of classroom examples, templates, blogs about how to use Mote in the classroom. So that's a great place to get teachers inspired.
Have a Mote-tastic day!